morning, Isabel. How are you today?
I'm doing great. And how about yourself?
Good, good. So I saw you on Dr. Trin's interview and was so impressed by your work and what you're doing around the world. And I just wanted to see, how did you get so motivated to do something like this?
You know, I've have a fantastic family and parents who've always been super supportive and pushed me to be motivated to look for how to solve problems around me. And specifically for this app, when COVID started, I have friends and family members who have autism and are on the spectrum, and their parents started expressing to me concern for their kids' well-being. Being stuck at home all the time, as we know, is hard on all of us. But if you lack these behavioral and social skills that societal norms kind of call for, it gets way more difficult to stay at home. So I just started hearing these concerns from friends and family and looking for a solution.
Wow. So, Isabel, would you mind just telling us a little about you first, and who you are, and for the audience, please?
Absolutely. So my name is Isobel Tweedt. I am a fourth year pre-medical student at UCLA right now. So I am looking at attending medical school next year. I've been accepted to one school, but I haven't decided quite yet where I'm going. But down the line, I'm hoping to study medicine, particularly space medicine, which is the sort of medicine that doctors at space agencies like NASA or SpaceX use to help keep astronauts safe in space. So I do a lot of work with kids involving space research. I also am a research lab manager at UCLA. And then this autism project has kind of been the work I've been doing during COVID because I've been stuck at home. So I also work a couple jobs, but mostly healthcare and then space interest.
Oh, what kind of jobs do you do in healthcare?
So I'm a medical scribe at an orthopedic surgeon's office, which means I document everything that happens between the doctor and the patient and write down all the orders. I'm also a home health aide for a woman with spinal muscular atrophy, which means that she's wheelchair bound. So she has 24-hour care to help lift and move her and take care of her in her apartment. So I do that as well.
How do you have time to do all of this and still develop something so amazing as an app for autism?
No, I keep pretty busy. I like to be busy. I don't like to be bored. It takes a lot of good time management skills. I've certainly learned not to procrastinate. But right now, particularly, I cannot work for the woman as a home health aide because I'm exposed to patients in the hospital when I'm working as a medical scribe. So I can't do both. So not working for her kind of opened up some time in my schedule, which has let me work on this app.
Wow. So when who decided to develop this app, and how did you go about doing this, Isabel?
So I heard about an opportunity at MIT called an MIT Hackathon. And all that is a weekend-long event where a bunch of people apply to be accepted, attend the program, and figure out solutions to help with COVID-19. So I actually went to this event with the idea to build an app for autism, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be picked up. I didn't know if other people had identified this problem or would be interested. Luckily, on the first day, we all gave our pitch, what do you want to do? I said, I want to build an app to help kids with autism. I'm not a coder. I hardly know anything about coding for computers, so I can't build this alone. Does anybody want to help? And I had a whole team of adults and individuals join me. And ever since then, it's just been growing. So it's my idea, and I founded the app, but I've relied very heavily on the support from MIT as well as the amazing teammates they set me up with. They're really what's making this app come together.
So, and I believe that you have a team around you that is helping you with this.
Yes, that's correct. We have a team of 12 individuals. We're international. We are in Ireland, we're in Florida, California, but largely we're UCLA students. And what's really great about that is we have a few core team members who I like to call the grown-ups. They're real adults, they've worked in the workforce, they know what they're doing, they have a lot of experience, and they're helping educate us younger kids on how to run a business, how to build an app, how to do all this stuff. So we all have experience, we're in our fourth year at UCLA. We've definitely learned a lot, but it's hard to get job experience, especially during COVID. So we rely on these older individuals to kind of help guide us and teach us how to build an app.
Well, thank you for working with us, older and wiser folks, as we say.
That's
We
what I
don't
tell
want,
them. They're so knowledgeable.
yes, they are so knowledgeable, and it's just it's just such a breath of fresh air to have somebody like you just step out into an arena that is um, so amazing. Research like this. Um, my great nephew is autistic,
Oh,
and he's high level autism, and my niece has been and my nephew-in-law has been great with him, and so has the family. Each one of the family members have been awesome with him, and he he's getting so much love. You know,
oh,
he is so loved. He's and so blessed to have my niece and my
yeah.
nephew-in-law, you know, taking care of him. He is a lot of work. He,
Yeah.
you know, he you cannot take your eyes off him because he's 8 years old, and he is just very, very busy all the time. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's just so how do you think you can help someone like that?
So first and foremost, what you said is he's busy. He constantly wants to be stimulated and you have to keep an eye on your kids. So especially right now where parents don't get that break where their child goes to school or their child goes to behavioral therapy or just some little time, at home to get stuff done, that's where we want to step in. Parents are, a little bit anxious and worried when they constantly put their kids on a screen because you don't want your child to just be looking at an iPad all the time.
Yeah,
But our idea is if your child is looking at a screen, if they are on your iPad, if you just need your kid to be happily occupied for a period of time, let's have them go on our app.
yeah,
Now, this app should keep them happily occupied and engaged, but more importantly, also help reinforce some social and behavioral skills that they're not getting at home right now. So, no matter how loving and wonderful a family and parents can be, if your child's not interacting with different people, you're just lacking that basic social interaction. So, our app will help children focus, lengthen their attention span, pay attention, build pattern and problem solving skills. It'll help them interact and get some basic social and behavioral skills back that they're just not able to practice at home.
wow. And for those that are severely autistic and have real learning problems and concentration problems, how how would an app, I know you explained a little bit about it, but how would you get them to even work with an iPad?
Sure. So the game is actually very customizable and it's built to help children wherever they are in the spectrum and also work with their parents to help keep the child engaged in a way that works best for them. So, for instance, we have a game that takes place in a sandbox. And when you're in the sandbox, you're digging in the sand and you're finding all the different pieces to, let's say, a truck. When you found all the pieces to the truck, you then assemble it to build one big truck that rides off the screen. So that's a lot of tasks and it requires quite a bit of focus for really any child because you have to look in the sandbox, you have to find the pieces, and you have to sort the pieces, and you have to put them together. That's a lot to demand focus for. So we have a couple of cues to help the child stay focused. First, kids with autism really respond well to keeping on a task list. If they can see the tasks that they need to complete, it's very helpful to see, okay, here's where I'm at now. What's the next step in the process and where am I trying to get to? We also have a virtual buddy, which is a cute little avatar that joins your child every day in the app. They choose an avatar that they feel like hanging out with that day. And that avatar helps keep your child on track. If your child hasn't touched the screen in a while, or maybe they're not going at their usual pace, the avatar will kind of nudge in a helpful and supportive way. Okay, let's get back on task and let's finish building our truck. So we have all these little things built in to hopefully keep the child happily engaged, but also focused on the task.
Yes, because attention span is really the big issue with them.
It's very difficult, and it's something to work up to. You know, we aren't expecting the child the first time to sit down and to be able to complete one of these tasks or to take 10 pieces and put them together. So the difficulty progresses. Maybe the first time we sit down on the app, all we do is find 3 pieces and put them together, or maybe all we do is focus on finding the pieces in the sand. So we don't want children to feel pressured. We just want their focus and attention span to build naturally.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I know that one of their friends put together um, a board with all kinds of different things. For example, a light switch and how to turn on a light, what things look like, and things that he can do, and develop this board. It's amazing. I'm sorry I don't have a picture of it right now to show you, but it is quite amazing what he has done to help Noah.
That's incredible. I would love to see that. What a clever idea.
Yes, yes, and I will talk with Sarah and have her share that with you, a picture of that, because it's a big board, about, I'd say probably 2 feet by 2 feet. I'm not sure, for example, because he's at home in Ireland right now. I'm here in California. And
Oh, okay.
yeah. And so I'll get her to send that to you. And by the way, I don't think I did an introduction to you really. My name is Eithne Keegan, and I am the National Coordinator for Healthcare Christian Fellowship USA. And what we're looking for really is mentors like you that are doing some awesome things that will show our younger people or younger audience um, things that they could do and motivate them to get involved. I'm sure there are a lot of young adults like you that are doing this, but we'd like to see them come out and talk about it a little bit more and be more involved with organizations like ours, so we can mentor them and keep them occupied. I shouldn't say occupied, keep them doing volunteer work and doing research and helping um, uh, people like you are doing for autism. We see a lot of people working and going on mission trips like you did. Tell me a little bit about your mission trip to Vietnam and
Oh,
how you got
sure.
involved with that.
So I got involved with Iggy, Dr. Trin, and his organization Tongue Out a little over a year ago. And I decided to join their mission trip to Vietnam to help underserved communities and rural populations around the country. So we spent time in Ho Chi Minh City, in Da Nang, and in some of the highland regions, visiting orphans, leprosy centers, and just anybody else who needed free medical care. So it was a very incredible experience on a lot of levels. I learned a lot about healthcare and diagnoses processes. And as a pre-med student, that was largely the reason why I went. I was very interested in that. But of course, I also went for the community service aspect and to learn about conducting medicine in a different country. Here in the United States, we take a lot of things for granted, and we're so lucky to have really phenomenal hospitals and doctors and access to high-tech healthcare. So it was very cool to go to a country where we had to work with slightly more primitive tools and in a different kind of setting and see that healthcare can still be done, medicine can still be accomplished. So I had a great time on the trip and I learned a ton in 2 weeks.
Wow. Well, would you go back again?
Absolutely. I would love to stay connected with Tongue Out. I'm working to become a doctor right now, and hopefully I'll continue joining them throughout med school and then maybe as a doctor one day. We'll see.
Wow. And you're doing research right now. You're in your doing your research project, and this is the one you've chosen, this app that you have. What organizations are you linked with presently to help get this app up and running?
Sure. So this app is actually a side project. It's not tied to UCLA, and that I have a separate research lab that I do for UCLA. So I just want to make it clear that this is a separate project. However, we do rely heavily on research analysts from UCLA. We also are closely tied with MIT and lots of their affiliates in clinical psychology and app development. I'm not allowed to speak of the direct partnerships with some of these groups until the app has been launched, but largely people we've met through the universities.
And Isabel, can you let people know how to get in touch with you and to get to know about your app?
Absolutely. So if you're interested in learning more about the app or getting in touch with me, we are always looking for more volunteers, interested parents, donations, anything of that sort, or even just talking to you. Talking to parents is where we learn what our app needs to do. So in order to do that, you can go to jackieots.com. So that's JACKIEOTS.com. And there's a contact me button on there. You can shoot me an email. Me or one of my team members will respond to you and be happy to chat.
Very nice. And are you effective in getting donations for this organization or for this app?
So we do have multiple private investors currently looking at our app, and we're in the midst of setting that up. We're becoming an LLC right now, which will allow us to take those donations. Right now, we're working completely on volunteer support, and that's not sustainable for long term, of course, but it should help us get to releasing our app in the first place, which is amazing. And I'm very, very thankful for the people who are just passionate about our project and donating their time.
Now, can you explain what LOC is?
Oh, sure. LLC, just a limited liability company. So once we become an actual company, because right now we're just a volunteer group, but once we become a company, that will allow us to open up a bank account, take donations, and really push through with the app. So we're just about there. It's just a kind of a long process when everybody's separated across the world, but we've got the paperwork ready to go. So that's our next step.
So is it similar to a nonprofit organization?
So this is actually a for-profit organization. And the reason why we have to start that way is because that's how you make money in order to release the app in the tech business. Now, eventually we would love to become a nonprofit. It's just a slightly longer process. So we're starting by becoming an LLC and then pursuing either nonprofit or B corporation status. B corporation is a lesser known but very similar idea to nonprofit groups. So we're kind of evaluating what would be best for our organization, but our interests definitely align with the nonprofit path.
Okay. And is it into this secular world or faith-based?
I'm sorry, you cut out there. What did you say?
Are you pushing this out to the secular world? Or is it faith-based?
So we're pushing this out to everyone. Anyone who's interested is welcome to use our app. We are not a religion-based app by any means, but we are working with a lot of church groups, especially to find beta testers, which are essentially children who will try playing our app before we release it to everyone else, because we want to make sure that it's enjoyable and fun and a good experience for the kids. And we find a lot of support there with local religious and church organizations who are happy to have us work with their awesome kiddos. So.
And what about schools that have special needs classes? Are you working with them also?
So our plan for after we release the app initially, we want to partner with various school districts and allow them to, buy a package deal on our app that they can then use in their classrooms or their therapy sessions that they have on campus. We'd love to do the same with local private psychology or behavioral therapist groups.
Great. And how do you pick the students for this research?
So we take anybody because, we can learn from any student. Largely, we just do it based off of interest. We have some kids who sort of inspired the app, so they will be included in that. But we are always looking for more individuals to try out the app and play with the games. Now, these are not just being released to kids after we've created it. They have undergone testing with clinical psychologists. They're being looked over. They're being okayed before we share them with the children. So we're largely just making sure that it's enjoyable. So if you're a parent and you think your child might be interested in getting the app early and checking it out, or you just want to learn more about it before you sign up for that, I'd be happy to share more information, and you can get in touch with us again at jackieots.com.
And is there specific paperwork that a person has to do that will be part of the research?
Yes, so there's extensive paperwork. Now, that paperwork will all be kept private. We're not using your child's information for anything. We won't associate your child's name with their results, nothing like that. But what we want to make sure is we want to make sure we're getting diverse kids practicing using this app. So we do need some basic information to make sure that the app is productive across kids of different levels on the spectrum, kids of different races, kids of different beliefs, kids of different geographies. All this stuff is really important to make sure that the app is globally accepted.
Wow, that is awesome. So if you don't dismiss anybody, you take everybody that is interested in this program, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Just want to make sure that that there isn't any specifics or details that that would eliminate anybody from the program.
So as we get into beta testing further, we might run into some issues with realizing, if your child is very high on the spectrum and really needs a lot of extra attention, then the early testing might not be the best for them. But as of now, we do not anticipate that being a problem. And we're looking for any children who are interested, because we can learn from anyone and everyone.
Wow. And going back to your interest in space medicine, how do you think this will tie into your app?
Sure. So right now, the app has no link to space medicine. However, what I would love to do is get a fun space game on the app, because I know as a kid, I didn't really see astronaut or space as a feasible career goal. I didn't think that you could just become an astronaut. So I never really worked towards that until I had high school and college teachers and professors saying, no, this is a real thing. You can do this. And so I would love to reach out to young kids, girls especially, who are having trouble getting into the STEM world, and show them that, hey, girls can do science too, and all kids can pursue this very interesting and very up and coming career in space. There are so many options, and just encouraging that interest through this app would be another great fun game and good way to get kids passionate about their futures.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Isabel. We will be putting this up on our website.
Okay.
And our website is hcfusa.org. And
I found you guys this morning. What an amazing group. I'm so honored to have gotten to speak with you today.
oh, thank you. When I see people like you, I just am so amazed, and I just, I want to reach out to them, and I know that they're going to make such a difference in the world, and I admire you for what you're doing, and I thank you for what you're doing, being so motivated and so organized and so wise.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I have a lot to learn, but this is helping me get there.
Great. I will get back with you, Isabel. We'll put this up on our website, and I'd like you to give us some feedback on what you think, of the recording, and see if this is what you want to do. And we thank you so much for what you're doing. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me get the word out about this. It's very important, and we really, really appreciate organizations like yourself that recognize how much this app is needed and allow us to spread the word. So I really enjoyed this morning, and getting to meet you was great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Isabel, and you have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year.